Hello, hello. Welcome back.
Hello.
Today's a very special episode, Luke.
Very special episode.
Do you want to go for it?
Yeah. I'll introduce. My lovely girlfriend Jordan is here. Want to say hello?
Hi.
Hi.
And Andy, do you want to introduce?
Yeah, this is my girlfriend Emily.
This is just crazy to me. I'm having a great time.
Yeah. Awesome.
Today, I've been looking forward to this episode for a very long time.
Yeah, no, I mean, we both talked about how we've seen this movie before, and then I'm just excited to talk about it because it's such a good. It's a romantic movie. It's wonderful.
It is. We're talking about The Princess Bride today.
Yes, indeed.
Yay!
Yeah,
I
no.
love this movie.
Oh, it's such a good movie. Such a good movie. It is absolutely one of the most wonderful, beautiful movies that just talks about love, fantasy, epics, like storytelling, family. I love it. I love everything about it.
There are some amazing themes in here. Do you want to give a brief rundown? Well, does anyone want to give a brief rundown of like what the story's about?
I think you got this.
You got it, Andy?
Yeah,
you
sure.
got it.
Okay.
got it.
So it's about a boy who is sick in bed, and his grandfather comes up and he's like, "Hey, I read this book to your father. My father read it to me. This is the when you're sick, we read The Princess Bride type book." And I don't know. I love the concept of that. I think it's super fun and goofy. And yeah, did any of you have like a I'm sick, so I need to do blank sort of
Yeah.
thing?
Actually, I've told Jordan this before. Is I used to watch religiously when I was sick. 'Cause I would sit in my parents' bed and they had like a big box TV, and we had the VHSs of Star Wars. And so I put on 4, 5, 6 when I was younger. My parents just put those in before I even knew about 1, 2, 3. And I watched those religiously. And then all of a sudden I was like, 6 is the best. So every time I was sick, I'd watch episode 6, put it in, pull it back out, put it back in, rewind it, and then start it again. I'd watch it like 3 or 4 times every time I was sick. So
Yeah.
I love that. That was my like sick tradition was either make cookies or watch Star Wars Return of the Jedi. So
You have one?
I have one. Oh, jeez. I don't know. I was a very active kid. So, like, if I was sick, I would kind of, like, refuse that I wasn't, you know? So I would just, like, get up and do things. And then, but, yeah, I mean, like, growing up, I mean, I wasn't really a movie person, oddly. You got me into movies. Because I just, like, wouldn't sit still for a long time. But then I realized how much I like them. I just have to, like, actually start watching them. Because if I think a movie is, like, too long or something, I'll be like, oh, like, it's 2.5 hours. That's too much for me. And then I just immediately am like, no.
That's what Luke and I were talking about
Yeah.
last week about Killers of the Flower
Killers of
Moon.
the Flower Moon, 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What about you, Jordan? What are like some sick traditions you have?
Actually, The Princess Bride was the one I watched.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Aw.
That's so sweet. With your mom?
No.
Really? Just
I
on your own?
just
Yeah,
watched
that's
it.
like-
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. When I was sick, I would always watch the like vintage, like 1930s Mickey Mouse cartoons.
Oh, okay.
Which was really crazy because then, like, I would have like a crazy fever, and then I would go to sleep, and my fever dreams would be in the style of like 1930s Mickey Mouse animation, and it was. I don't know how to describe this without sounding absolutely crazy. So you're just gonna have to run with this. But yeah, every time I see that, I think of like weird fever dreams of me, and there's this one of me and a bear. I'm not getting into it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, but then this movie progresses from that sick story where it tells it like in real action, where you see all of a sudden you see Princess Buttercup and Wesley, and it's their love story about how together, like he was a stable boy to her as she lived on like a farm, little stable, and he'd always say "as you wish," and to every request, and obviously when you're telling the story, it's like the "as you wish" really meant "I love you."
Yeah.
And then it progresses where he goes off to make money for their wedding, and then he gets captured and killed by the great pirate Roberts, and then all of a sudden, she was now chosen by Prince Humperdinck, this kind of really evil prince that wants to control all the power in their little kingdom, and then all of a sudden, he chooses her as a bride, and little does everyone know that he has ulterior motives. But then Wesley comes back with many amazing characters such as Inigo Montoya. What are the other characters' names?
Miracle Max,
Oh.
Inigo Montoya,
What was
Vizini.
what was Andre the Giant's name?
Oh man,
What was
I
it?
have it pulled up right here.
Starts with an F, Jordan.
It's fizzy. Is that
Physique?
Fazzini?
Yeah, Fezzik.
Fezzik. Yes. And it's just a wonderful, like, whimsical tale that is satirized, that is funny, that is beautiful, that is romantic.
It's
and I
so
love it.
funny.
So
It's so funny.
yeah, the quotes are infinite. I have like my quote list pulled up. It's
Yeah.
infinitely quotable.
I love the like concept of like, oh, I thought you left-handed.
Yeah.
Little did you know, and then they like both do it. It's just so goofy. the
I'm also
entire time.
left-handed.
Yeah.
It is awesome. So, but yeah, where do you want to start with this movie?
Man, I think a fun place to start would probably be the end when I think what kind of tied everything together for me is at the end when the little boy says to his grandfather and he's like, hey, can you come over tomorrow and read the book again? And he just responds, as you wish. And the first time I watched this, it completely flew over my head. I was like, oh, he's just being cute. He's quoting the book.
Yeah.
And then the second time I'm like, oh my gosh, he like really loves his grandson.
Yeah.
A lot. Like it can be all types of love. It could be a platonic love. It could be a romantic love. It could be a sibling love. Like it's a movie about love in all ways, shapes, and form. And I think that's what makes it super special.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Because it's kind of funny. Because in a lot of ways we see a progression of this little kid he's playing, I think he's playing Mike Tyson. I can't remember what video game he's playing at the start.
Oh yeah, Punch Out.
Punch Out. He's playing Punch Out, and he's just so against the idea, and he's so they're kissing, gross, all that stuff.
Ew.
And then all of a sudden, at the end, it's like the most romantic kiss, most heartfelt kiss ever, and the kid was eating it up, and I love that. And I think that the As You Wish of the grandfather saying that to his grandson, it just shows that he cares for him, and he really does love his grandson. Yeah.
No, it's cute. And like, I think something that was funny in it, which is like super small, but like a little callback was, like the little boy kept saying, "There's no sports in this. Like, where are the sports? There's like whatever." And then it was when, oh geez, see, I'm like fuzzy with the names, but when, Wesley, when he was like kind of like defeating the three guys, and he got to Andre the Giant, and he said, what did he say? He
It's
said
not
something like,
sportsmanlike.
it's not sportsmanlike. And like, that was so small, but I was like, that was funny that they tossed that in there. Because then another reason why the little kid listening to it, he's probably like, oh my God, like now there's sports in it. Like I could imagine him on the other end of it, like listening to the story, being excited about that. Because I thought about that the whole time as it's flipping back and forth. I'm like, even though we're watching a story, like the little boy's hearing a story.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's also one thing that we talk about this movie is like for us, it's infinitely quotable. It is like there's so many amazing quotes. Like obviously, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Like that's obviously one of the best ones ever. But then like even that sportsmanlike one, my way is not very sportsmanlike. It's like it's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so just. There's so many minor things in this film that absolutely feel perfect. And me and Jordan actually we watched a couple of behind the scenes like videos because I have the Criterion collection of this film.
Oh wow.
And so, like we saw what was his name, Mandy Patinkin, and like how he talked about how much he loves, and he's getting like choked up, right? Yeah, he was getting choked up about like talking about his role and like why was he getting choked up though?
Something about like how he felt it was so cool that he was in a movie this big, like cool. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like how he was so excited that he watched it with his wife, and he said, "I'm like I've never dreamed about being in a movie this amazing."
Yeah.
And it was so cool. He's crying about it 20 years later. I think that's amazing.
I don't know how to really like describe the way this movie sort of makes me feel. Like it's one of those things where it's like you can watch it and you'll either look at it and be like, wow, this was like kind of mid, nothing, like it was fine, or you'll watch it and you'll be like, this struck, like this is someone putting like a huge wooden stake right in the middle of my heart, and I'm like gonna love it forever. And yeah, it's kind of like I see it in the same vein as like Never Ending Story or Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And it's like those three movies are kind of very similar in the aspect of like you either really love them or you like don't talk about them a lot.
I can see that. I mean, I've never seen never seen the Never Ending Story actually, but I've seen Monty Python. And this movie, when was the first time you watched this movie, Jordan?
Oh, it's like my mom's favorite movie, so I grew up watching it.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, and so I watched this movie, so I was so funny because my parents weren't into it at all. I wasn't interested in my parents. I had this neighbor named Barbara, and I was like probably like 8, 9 years old, and she used to be like, "You're gonna love these two movies. They're called The Goonies and Princess Bride." And she forced me to watch them. I sat down because she was babysitting me, and she put Princess Bride on, and I loved it. I ate it up. I was like, "This is the best movie ever." And ever since then, it's been one of my absolute favorite movies, and it's so comforting. It is a movie that exudes the idea of comfort because it is something that in a lot of ways is told through this idea that, like, yeah, it's a kid that's sick. He's getting told a heartfelt, amazing story that has so many amazing characters.
Yeah, there's a lot of like fun in the movie too.
Yeah.
Like the whole like side like story about the Great Pirate Roberts and
Yeah.
like being the name is just being handed down. It seems like something that's like kind of like a throwaway line that
Yeah.
doesn't really go anywhere, but I love it. Like I'm glad that there's no like sequel or spin-off of the Great Pirate Roberts.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad it's left to the imagination of Inigo Montoya becoming the Great Pirate
Yeah,
Roberts
but-
at the end,
Yeah.
and like the story of what happened at the beginning. And I love how ambiguous and sort of like up in the air it all is.
Like when we first came across like his character as the pirate robber.
the Man in Black.
Yes. Literally at the first time he showed on screen, I literally go, "That's Wesley," and he
Yeah.
goes, "Interesting," and I go, "I see it in his eyes. I see it in his jawline. Like
Yeah.
you can't tell me." And it's like, even though maybe I don't know how many people would have noticed that, like first off, but I think it was like, and then the reveal of it being him with Buttercup, like that was so sweet, and then like seeing them continue on was really sweet.
Rolling down the hill
Yeah.
as you wish. It is just beautiful.
Yeah.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Because I don't know. There's again like this is where a movie, I think, it's all in the details. There's so many aspects of what this film really exudes. It exudes this idea that it just like fun. It just exudes like it's like it's so much fun that in 2020 they recreate a bunch of celebrities recreated. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
A bunch of celebrities recreated this film. Like they on like one
For
for one.
YouTube,
Yeah,
right?
for YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just recreated the film, and like they were all like replaying the most famous lines and like acting it out all over Zoom and stuff like that. That's how much this movie impacts just culture.
Yeah, I think it has like the same level of like cult classic as like a Rocky Horror or something like
Yeah,
that. Like, it's-
absolutely agree. I'm also very surprised this movie has never gotten like a Broadway adaptation or something like that. But I think it's actually for the better in a lot of ways. Because
Yeah.
I think this movie really sets its precedence for it just being such a great, heartfelt movie.
Yeah, I can just imagine Wesley doing his
His like tenor,
Yeah,
like
tenor
solo moment, like
Yeah.
he would eat that
his
up.
recitative just like blaring to the back wall.
That'd be crazy. But
Yeah.
I didn't like. I've known about this movie this whole time, but I was actually having an office hour with one of my professors, and I'm like, side note, I'm a musical theater major. Like, I'm a theater kid. Yeah, it's out there. But I was
Trying to get it out of her.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's like, I don't tell many people. But we were talking about, my professor was like, "Have you seen Princess Bride?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "How have you not seen Princess Bride?" And I'm like, "Well." And he's like, "Do you know Mandy Patinkin?" And I was like, "I've heard the name." Because he's like very famous on Broadway. He's worked with Sondheim. He's worked with Andrew Lloyd Webber. Like, he's very, very famous. And so I think it was like funny to like call back to very famous songs. I didn't even know it was him. Like songs I love. And I'm like, oh my God, that's him. And then to see him in this was so fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just like cool. But no, I agree. I feel like a lot of things, when they do successfully, you're like, oh my God, adapt it
Yeah.
into something else. And like, I feel like putting it on stage is a very, like, from movie to stage is a very like common path. But no, I agree. I'm not saying it wouldn't do well on stage. I just don't think it needed it.
Groundhog Day did well, but that doesn't mean it was like incredible.
No, we didn't need it.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah. Is Groundhog Day on Broadway?
It was.
Oh, horror. Whoa, weird.
Yeah, like
Back to the
yeah.
Future is
watched-
on right now.
Back to the Future.
We watched Groundhog Day and we were like, man, this movie's creepy. Like, this guy is like Bill Murray. Dude, honestly, I watched multiple Bill Murray. This is a side tangent. I've seen 2 Bill Murray movies recently where I'm like, I love this actor of Wes Anderson, you know, all these things. But man, he plays some creepy characters.
He's kind of like Robin Williams in like 1 Hour Photo or Death to Smoochie. Like when I think of Robin Williams, I think of Dead Poets or like Hook, where he's like this incredible mentor, incredible father, incredible all of this. And then in like 1 Hour Photo, he's like stalking this family and
Yeah, it's like how like Bill Murray in like Ghostbusters is like so predatory towards Sigourney Weaver. I'm like, huh, all right. And then like the whole thing. Sorry, we're going on many tangents. But yeah. I don't know. Have you seen Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, oh, it's so weird. Like when he goes like just up to her apartment and just does nonstop pressure. Sorry, it's a tangent. I don't know.
a Ghostbusters episode would be fun.
A Ghostbusters. Yeah, it would be fun.
Interesting.
But
I'll write that down.
But yeah, and so, but Oh yeah, I was gonna ask because me and Jordan have talked about this. Who's your guys' favorite character in the film?
Oh, easily Wallace Shawn's Vizini.
Really?
He's so funny. He makes me laugh so
You led
much.
up to the part with like the poison cups. You're like, oh my god, this part is so funny. Oh my god, it's so funny. And like every line, it was like, like a little laugh. Like nothing would even happen.
He reminds me of my dad. Like his character is my dad, and it's so funny, and I love it.
Oh my god, I have a funny line from him. Just like the inconceivable lines. Inconceivable. It's just so perfect. As it's a word that is so ingrained into this character, and every time I've heard inconceivable just like day to day, and like I just think it's so funny. And like what does Inigo Montoya say about like you keep saying, what is that line? You keep saying that word. I don't think you know what it means.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But who's your favorite character, Jordan?
Inigo Montoya.
Why is that?
I just think he's great.
Yeah, he's the coolest character. I mean, we share the same favorite character, Inigo Montoya. It's just in my opinion, like him and Wesley are some of the most likable characters ever. Because Inigo Montoya, this whole thing is you kill my father, prepare to die. It's so iconic. It's so fun. It's just like, and he's like so. When he's like waiting for Wesley to climb up, he's like, I'll give you the rope, and he's like, Wesley's like, no. He's like, I swear to my father, and he gets to the rope, and it's like,
it's a lot harder than it looks.
And he's like, he starts getting on like ready to like fight him. He's like, no. Take your time. And it's like a character that is so respectful and like caring about other people, even to someone he's supposed to kill. I just don't know. And then also his whole arc with finding the six-fingered man. It's just it's so Mandy Patinkin plays him perfectly, and it's just such a fun and enjoyable time. And like I can't say all the words in this one, but like when he at the very end when he kills the six-fingered man, it's my favorite line in the whole film. It's like, I want my father back, you SOB.
Yeah.
I love that.
He's like, I'll give you anything you want. Yeah. And he like plays into it for a minute.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I love it. It's just like I was with Jordan. I was like, we were sitting down in my apartment. And I was like, I just grabbed her hands like, oh my, that line is so dang cool.
Oh.
Do you have a favorite character?
Yeah. Can I tell you mine's out there? Mine's a side character.
Okay.
But like, absolutely memorable. It was the pastor at the end for me.
That
really,
the priest?
Yeah, no, the priest.
The priest who married them?
And then, no, like, that was just what I needed at the very end. Like, it was going good, and I'm like, who is this? Why did I just see him now? I think he needs more. But no, it's like a little treat at the end. I also like the guy who was in the pit. What was it? The pit of despair.
The pit of despair.
Like that guy.
The albino.
Yes.
Yeah.
For like 2 seconds, like
where he talks really deep
and then he's like, sorry, and then he just like gets into it. Like it was small moments like that. I really liked Wesley. I really like Inigo Montoya.
Andre the Giant playing.
Like him.
Yeah. It's like
the Miracle Workers.
Miracle
They were
Max.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
Miracle
God.
Oh yeah.
And
I was like, it sounds like Billy Crystal.
It is
Because
Billy
it was
Crystal.
Billy Crystal. Like, my bad.
Sonny, true love is the greatest thing in the world, except for a nice MOT mutton, lettuce, tomato sandwich, where the mutton is real nice and lean and the tomatoes right. They're so perky. Like it's like such a good line. It's so like everything. It just feels so. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a lot of ways satirized of like Robin Hood, or it's satirized of like these ideas of high fantasy. But it's still done with that in a respectful manner, and I love that.
Yeah, like the rodents of unusual size.
I got another. I have so many quotes from that. Rodents of unusual size. I don't think they exist, and then he immediately gets attacked. Oh my God, it's so perfect.
It's what I like is it doesn't depend on. Here on Jumpcut, we like making fun of the MCU, and I'm gonna do it real quick. I feel like this is so funny being itself, whereas the MCU kind of recently feels like it has that sort of like Seth MacFarlane callback. Hey, do you remember this sort of funny gag thing? And I'm so glad that there's like movies that I can still watch that are really, really funny, like authentically.
Yeah,
you know?
they're so authentically funny because it's not just so. One of the problems with MCU is started with this idea called quippiness, and I've like it's this idea that you get a one-off line of banter. It's called banter between two characters, and if it's natural, it feels great and it's fine. You know, it works. Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Very
perfect
sitcom-y,
a perfect way of doing it. But when they add quippiness to characters that don't need that idea, it feels very out of place. Or if it's happening too much, it just doesn't feel real. And a lot of times it's improv.
Yeah.
Which you can use improv in a lot of ways very well, but if you do use it too much, it makes it feel like the story is inconsistent. And so what you need a lot of times is very good writing to create jokes, and then you need very good actors to deliver on those jokes to make them funny. And that's where this film is perfect, because you get a fantastic writer who is then directing these characters based on a book that is also you read the book, right, Jordan? Yeah. Is the book you said
exactly like the
one
movie.
for one? So yeah, it's very much written like this.
Isn't it a passion project?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Like, I'm pretty sure it was in like developmental like nightmare. Like, no one wanted to buy it, and then
Oh, I think it is. Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
And but beside the point, and it's like, because this is very well written to the point of where it makes it to a beautiful, beautiful film, because it's so funny. That Inigo Montoya, like, that wouldn't have been able to be done without Mandy Patinkin.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you get Andre the Giant playing Fezzik, and that's not gonna be able to be done without anyone other than Andre the Giant. Like, everyone, even the villains, like they're all done perfectly because they commit to their bit.
Absolutely.
And they care about their characters. And that's something when we watch the behind the scenes, is that you could tell, right, Jordan, that everyone had this love for like the movie. Like what we were laughing about, what's the little kid's name, the actor?
Oh, let me look. I have the cast list pulled up here. The little boy.
The grandson.
Fred Savage.
Yeah, we were laughing because he looks exactly like how he did as a kid. And he just was talking about like how much like his like grandkids are gonna watch this, and like everyone can enjoy it. So
Yeah, I love how you can tell just the like passion from every single character, every single sound designer, every single gaffer, everyone loved the script, everyone loved the story, and it shows.
that's exactly what I agree. And I think so many films get pushed to the wayside because you're going to be on a project like Madam Web, where I can guarantee those 8 PAs on that film were like, this is just a paycheck. The scaffers, this is just a paycheck.
Yeah.
Versus this film where you can tell, like, they even talked about how like they were having dinners with Jamie Lee Curtis, because Jamie Lee Curtis is married to the Six-Fingered Man. I can't remember the actor's name. And they're having dinners two nights a week. With each other as a whole cast, and like villains, like everyone together, because they all had a great time. They felt like it was a summer camp, and they're having an absolute wonderful time. They're all singing on set. They're having a wonderful time on set, and like that kind of thing is just so wonderful, that everyone is being so in love and like loving the film as much as the film exudes this idea of what love is.
Absolutely. It's Miss Music Major.
Oh,
Do you want to talk about the music?
sure, I do. I actually I wrote something down in the thing that really stood out to me was it was in the fight with Wesley and Inigo Montoya when they first meet, and just like the musicality of the fight and the attention to detail in that. It's so small, but like Inigo Montoya like tosses his sword in the air, catches it, it's like boom, like right on the there's like a horn right
It's called
there.
Mickey Mousing.
Oh,
Yeah.
learn something new every day.
It's true.
Wow.
Yeah, it's when the music matches the like movement.
But it was just like that was cool, and I it's just the music really fit every scene it was in, whether it be like comedic or whether it be like very sweet and romantic. They did a very good job paying attention to detail, but it also felt like the music wasn't super generic. Like the music was fit in the story, fit in the world of the story, and it wasn't just like, oh, what's the most like basic chords you can make for a romantic like major chord, yay, it's happy, like, you know.
It's not just C, G, D, F. Like it's
Yeah.
more. You know,
Yeah,
It's
it's
more.
great.
done by, I'm gonna butcher this name, guys, so just bear with me. British guitarist and singer-songwriter Mark Knopfler.
Okay, nice.
Knopfler.
8. That was good.
I'm proud. That was a good pronunciation. I'm proud.
Knopfler.
Yeah, no, but I agree. The music is absolutely beautiful. The Criterion is a great example. Like, you put it on and it just immediately starts with that amazing orchestral score of the beginning of like the whole land and everything that they're in. It's just like,
Absolutely.
man, I just love this movie. And then also when like every time it's the Mickey Mousing of like when he turns around and sees the boat, like you get a couple horns that play.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden like the inconceivableness of the Man in Black following them is right there. And I just think that's so funny, and I don't know.
They also do it at the end of the movie too, where he's like banging his head on the wall trying to get through the door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
It was like boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so great. It's so funny. Every single time I laugh when it's like, do you think there's someone following us? No, there wouldn't be anyone out here for miles. Why do you say that? Because there's someone following us.
It's that thing. It's a setup and payoff.
Yeah.
So Jordan, I was gonna ask you. So what? So I know you said the book is very much like the film, like, exactly. But can you elaborate on it a little bit?
I felt like the book wasn't even worth reading.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was so spot on to the movie.
Okay. Was the book
Word for word.
word for word, like nothing has
It
changed?
felt like nothing changed. Yeah.
Really? Okay. Interesting.
That's kind of like reassuring, you know?
That is like the verb.
It's the only book I've read that was like that.
Like, it's the most. I think that's like one way they describe it, is like probably the most accurate book to movie adaptation ever.
Yeah.
That's like probably, I don't think anything else could probably top that if it's exactly as it is.
That's really.
That's actually kind of nice, because you see only so many movies or TV shows that have adaptations that are obviously take liberties.
Like Dune.
Like Dune, yes.
You have to do research
Yeah.
before you watch the movie.
Or The Hunger Games. I just watched
Yeah.
The Hunger Games for the first time,
Yeah.
but I don't read. And
Yeah.
so my friends were like, "Oh my god, there's so many things that are
Different in the books.
different,"
yeah.
and I was like, "I don't know," but
And so like
Ready
it's where I'm
Ready
like,
Player One.
yeah, Ready Player One, obviously very different, but like it's cool. But like this is almost an exact adaptation of the movie, so
Yeah.
or the book. So, but yeah,
Maybe I should read the book.
I know that's how I'm feeling. Me and Jordan have actually been talking about reading Dune, so
Yeah.
yeah, we're thinking about it. So, but yeah, no. So I books I do love how books adaptations can be done well, and I think this is obviously a really good example of that.
Yeah. Do you guys have a favorite like scene or moment that you want to talk about?
oh,
Scene or moment.
let me think.
I do have one. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but it's everything to do with Inigo Montoya, and he's chasing the six-fingered man. And I said the line of like you killed my father, prepare to die. You killed my father, prepare to die. And he's like, so the whole thing is that this man is chasing him, and he throws the knife. The six-fingered man throws the knife, gets stuck in Inigo Montoya's like the stomach, and despite everything, he's like, he apologizes to his father, but then the guy comes over to kill him. The six-fingered man comes over to kill him, but Inigo Montoya's sword blocks it, stabs his shoulder,
Yeah.
blocks it, stabs his arm. He keeps getting up, and he keeps saying it over and over again. He's like, "Stop saying that!
Yeah.
Like, you can't." Like, and then all of a sudden, he's like, he slices him in the same exact spots that Inigo Montoya has been sliced, and he he comes over and he goes like, "I'll give you anything I want, my riches, anything you I have, and more." And he goes like, "Good." Then he stabs him, and he goes like, "I want my father back, you
God.
blank word." And it's like,
God,
it's
so
just
good.
such a cool line and such a cool moment, because the entire film, you literally, from the first second you really get to understand Inigo Montoya as a character with the Man in Black. He's like, my father was killed, this is my sword. Like, it's so respectful. You understand this guy is a man of integrity and respect. And then all of a sudden, he gets his vengeance in the best way possible. And revenge stories can go here or there, but I think this is honestly, in a lot of ways, my eyes, one of the best revenge stories that has been done.
I'd say that he has a more full and like satisfying arc than Wesley,
Yeah, you can argue that. I agree.
and he might be like the lead in my eyes over Wesley.
Yeah, in some ways, I don't doubt that.
Yeah, Wesley's arc is kind of over at the beginning, before he leaves. Like it's oh, I love Buttercup, and then it's like, cool, that's
Yeah, and it's all about loving Buttercup and saving her, kind of thing
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
point. But yeah, anyone else have favorite scenes?
I had one, and then it left me. Let me find it.
it does that. It happens.
It was something towards the beginning. I think it was something related to the sword fighting, but I actually don't remember. I mean, I liked watching that too. That's like also random. We train in stage combat is part of our course in school. So like watching, and there's like a second course you take and you learn with weapons, and so they use swords. And I just worked on a show where they did sword fighting, and so like also seeing that on screen is interesting, because learning a lot about how, like, oh, what is it, like Bruce Lee when he punches in one frame and they're like, we couldn't catch that because it was too fast.
Oh, yeah.
Like everything you do on screen or on stage in terms of like stage combat has to be so much slower, but then it looks fast, which is just really like interesting, because you, as a watcher, you wouldn't think that, but as you're doing it, you're like, this is so awkwardly, painfully slow.
Yeah.
But no, I think like that was really cool to watch. I did a really good job. I agree. I really like the end. There were just like little moments that it'll come to me. But there was there were two like tiny things. It'll come to me.
Okay.
I'll simmer on it.
Well, you, Jordan, what are some of your favorite scenes?
I really liked the sword fighting scene between Wesley and Inigo Montoya.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
probably one of my favorites. I also really like when Buttercup figures out that it was Wesley. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 I also I really like another scene I really like is obviously the Miracle Max where he's like he said to blave he means obviously Buffy, you're getting money. I was ready to ransack his pockets. Like everything with Miracle Max is I just thought perfect.
It's so funny. Yeah. Miracle Max is definitely one of my favorites. I like all the scenes with the grandfather and the grandson. It's
Yeah.
all like it's a really clever way to tell this story because like it's not necessarily needed. You know, like
Yeah.
you can have a complete story without jumping back and forth. But I think the point of them really comes together with the final line when the grandfather says, "As you wish," and it sort of ties the themes together of, oh, this is a story about love both inside the book and in real life, and it's kind of like kind of interpreted as like the grandfather took the lessons of loving in the book and he internalized those lessons, and he is now trying to teach them to his grandson while also showing the grandson in practice what it looks like to love. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And something about the way that the grandson gets invested in the story is something that I feel like he's representative of the audience, which is obvious. He is. He's because he's listening to it the first time. We're watching it for the first time. Where there are so many moments where you're just kind of like, what's actually gonna happen? Like, oh, is Wesley actually dead? And then like, is Prince Humperdinck live? It's all this stuff. It's like Prince Humperdinck does live. He's obviously not like in like with Buttercup anymore, but he does live, and like you like all these things where you're like, does like Wesley's dead, like, you know, like the grandfather not trying to spoil it but also trying to like make him feel like he's like too stressed. It's just so like cute because like there's so many times in a movie like if I'm watching like maybe a horror movie or something like that, or maybe like a mystery and I just want to know the next thing, like I maybe I want to look it up or ask the person that's seen it before next to me, but everyone's just like, just wait because it all reveals itself, it all has a good time. And I love how the grandfather plays with his grandson in a playful manner, because it's just representative of the audience. It's like because like, oh, Wesley is dead, who goes, and then all of a sudden he's back, and it's just like nice.
Yeah, and like the tongue-in-cheek nature of like he closes the book at the last moment, and there's like one sentence left, and it's like
there's kissing.
They're kissing. You want to listen to it,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "No, I want to listen to it," and
But
he
just
like
one
describes it as like the top 5 most passionate. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down the top 5 most passionate kisses in all of history.
Yeah, and it's just I love it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, such a good movie. But also one thing that me and Jordan were talking about, because we love this movie so much. I've seen it probably like dozens of times. She's probably seen it hundreds of times at this point. We're gonna probably do that for Halloween.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
And we want to talk about our coworker that we talked about for Inigo Montoya. Real quick,
You want
to go for it about Fredo? Go for it. Go for it.
I don't know what to say about
Yeah.
that.
So we have me and Jordan really want to do Wesley and Buttercup, because I like, it's like that romantic kind of thing, and we love the movie so much. And then we have this coworker named Fredo, and we were like, you'd be like, because he's never seen the movie before, and we were like, you'd be perfect for Inigo Montoya. And not knowing it, because he's a funky looking character, and sometimes he has scars on his face. He's a really small, tiny mustache. And we're like, you should be this character. It's just that kind of small things. It's just so funny. It's just like that idea. I don't know. It's something I like about it is that there's so many small moments of the film that connect with the audiences that way. That you want to dress up as Halloween characters for them, or you want to have a good time with the characters.
Yeah. It's a film with a ton of tiny mustaches.
It is.
Yeah.
You said that. You're like, I forgot which one. I think it was with Wesley.
It was
I think it's
Wesley.
when he was like actually dead, and you're like, his mustache is
like,
so small, and I'm like, awesome timing.
I wish I could grow a mustache.
I also love how it's Carrie Eulis, who he's getting literally saw trapped in this film, even though he's not in Saw yet.
Yeah.
I was like, I was telling Jordan, I was watching this, and she laughed so hard. It was so funny because we were like watching it. I'm like, man, this is just Saw prequel right now.
Yeah.
Before the Doctor became the Doctor. Because Carrie Eulis, Wesley is the same guy that plays a doctor in the first Saw film.
Yeah.
So
You don't like Saw, do you?
I know, I've never seen it. I've only seen one horror movie. I'm not a horror person, but in spirit, I appreciate people who do.
Yeah,
who
fair.
like it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there's so many things about this film that we can talk about, and I think I want to think one thing I want to talk about is the villains in this story, because I think that there are two of them,
Yes.
Realistically, 2.5 if you count that the albino and stuff,
Yeah.
because I think that Prince Humperdinck is so many ways a satirization of like the mustache twirling evil princes.
Yeah.
Because he is an epitome of what that character is.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Six-Fingered Man is that other secondary villain that you see. And I think that both of them represent this idea of like these villains in a lot of ways are so much cheesier than you really remember from like Robin Hood or like any of these old, because the thing is this movie 100% satirizes that idea of high fantasy. Same thing
Yeah.
with how Monty Python satirizes that idea of
Yeah.
high fantasy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's funny. I think it's a testament on just how good the writing is, where like if you were to describe this movie to someone who's never seen it, like you would just be describing every single cliche in storytelling that you can think of.
Yeah.
Like guy saves the princess and there's a big bad and a mustache, like it has so many, it is filled with cliches, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels very authentic and raw and grounded.
One thing I love at the beginning is the grandfather says this story has love, fencing, miracles. He says a couple other things, and all of those words actually like show up in the film too, where it's like you see them fighting and fencing, and you see giants. Yeah, 'cause he says giants, and it's just like so cool in that manner where you see these characters that that come to life through the grandfather's voice.
Yeah. I think something that really makes this film incredible is just how, like I said, just how grounded it feels. And I think that has to do with one of my favorite things that a film could do ever is having practical sets. All of the sets were practical, and it looked so good. It looked so good.
Yeah, and we were watching the behind the scenes, and like they're on the cliffs of Dover, which is in Ireland. It's like that when they're the cliffs of despair.
Yeah.
Like they're literally at cliffs, like they are at cliffs, and then you see like they're for the water scenes they built an indoor lake like how they did in Titanic for these two ships, and it is real. It is a real thing. They're on a set. The castle there they showcase is in Scotland.
Yeah.
They're at these locations. They're in woods, or like they build a set like the what's the woods called? Oh my god. The forest of the I can't remember, the fire swamp or something like that.
Yeah, the fire swamp.
Fire swamp. That is a built set.
Yeah.
It is built. And like all those things are practical fire explosions. The rat is a practical rat.
It's a dude. Are you telling me that you don't have to film everything on a CG backlot?
Or what's the
I
new
don't
thing?
understand.
What's that new thing called that they're doing the Mandalorian?
The gross thing?
Yeah,
Oh my!
I can't remember what it's
In
called.
Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't know what it's called,
I
but
can't remember, but it's
I
like-
hate it.
It's only ever been used really well like in the Batman, where it's used subtly.
Yeah.
It's used to support rather than using to base. That's
Yeah.
how I describe it. If you're
Absolutely.
using something to base your film and the entire film, like Thor: Love and Thunder, or like some of the new Star Wars films like Ahsoka, or like the new Avatar, all of it's based there, so it doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
But if you use it to support how the Batman does, it's done well. But then, you know what the best thing is? Why so many things are so well done, like, is practical sets. The original Star Wars, why is it the best Star Wars? Is because it's practical sets.
And I feel like it also, like, which I don't know how much someone would really be considering it in the moment, they age better. Like, I feel
yeah,
like
absolutely.
all of that, because then as technology gets better and better over time, as you watch so much CGI and you watch so much green screen, is you can tell, you're like, oh my God, I can tell that was done however many years ago. You watch like the first, like, I don't know.
Phantom
like,
Menace, Peace and
or,
Love
like,
looks like trash.
or like
Yeah.
Godzilla or whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, you can like laugh because it's funny and you're like, oh, it's like whatever. But even though you watching this, you can tell it's an older movie. Like the world building is so strong, it doesn't matter. It's not like I actually, when did this movie come out? I don't know when this.
1986.
86.
Yeah, but so it's like you can tell it's a older movie, but
87.
but it's like it's so much stronger with practical sets.
Yeah, and I was just gonna mention another thing. I was gonna ask Jordan about this because we talked about this during the film with the costume designs. So, what was like one of your favorite, like all the characters, like who had like some of the best costumes and who had some of the best like showcases of that? Like, as I know you talk about Buttercup, but
Yeah.
because I know because you mentioned like how much like the Buttercup costumes at the beginning aren't necessarily the coolest, but then that towards the end that she gets much cooler costumes. Who do you think
I
is like
think so.
who has some of the cool costumes in the set? Do you think?
I like Inigo Montoya's
Yeah,
outfit,
Inigo Montoya's
honestly.
is
Like, I
good.
think it's very fitting for his character.
I think that another character that gets a lot of really good costumes is Prince Humperdinck. He is so fantastic. Because that's another thing is like, it's really important, and I think a lot of times is overlooked in film is makeup and hairstyling and costume design. Because it's like it's one of the most important things. It sells the character. Because you have these people that are real. Like they are now the character. Because like one of the things when I did theater, I was in theater myself. Like I keep it secret. Is that one of the best things to get into your character that really feels like it's fulfilled after either weeks or months of rehearsals is when you finally get a costume. You start to feel like that character, and then having these characters have such elaborate, amazing costumes that are set in the time period, and they all look so authentic and handmade, which they are handmade because it's just the best way to do it. It's just so beautiful, and I love it because you see these characters that are now real. A six-finger man, that glove is a real prosthetic that man's wearing. You know?
When they're like, "Hey, go, Prince Humperdinck, go sit in the chair. We're gonna tie you up," and he like grabs his little sleeves and like throws it over.
And it's like it's also special to know like again like the excitement of stepping into a costume and seeing like how each character felt comfortable in their costume, like inadvertently, like it's something that's small and maybe not so noticed, but like you could tell again like that small detail of the sleeves, or like you could tell everyone was very comfortable in what they were wearing, and like the attention to also like being a period piece, that's something that's very important, and knowing that the costumers and designers did their research to best embody what it would look like for that time was also very important. So
I absolutely agree.
I tried looking it up, and I don't have any concrete evidence to support this outlandish claim, but I feel like it was shot on film.
It is shot on film, yeah.
It looks so good. Guys, I think we need to bring that back. Like between the four of us, I think that's enough people to start campaigning this.
Oppenheimer will be the new Christopher Nolan's.
I think we need to shoot everything on film. I'm gonna shoot my I already have plans. I'm talking to Bill. I want to shoot my capstone
on film. That'd be crazy.
On Super 8.
That'd be crazy.
I talked to there's a camera. I'm going on a tangent. I talked to the film development place downtown, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't develop Super 8, so you're gonna have to figure it out." But it could be cool. I want to do it.
There are some places in Phoenix that develop Super 8, so if you look into it. But one thing I also want to talk about. Sadly, someone who's passed away now is Andre the Giant.
Yes.
He is. This is largely his only film role that was super popular. He's done other things before, but this is the one that's really been showcasing that who he is. He's one of the best WWE wrestlers of all time, legacy actor, and everyone on the set, we were watching the behind the scenes, me and Jordan, everyone had amazing things to say about his kindness. What else? What else were they saying about him? Like his like
He's just very gentle.
Gentle, like, and like, what was the thing with Bassini where he was talking about like how the Bassini's actor was afraid of heights?
He was afraid of heights, so he like made him feel better about the whole thing, and like made him feel reassured, and he wasn't scared to go up the
He's like,
mountain.
I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Like, it's so amazing. And then one thing I also think is like, I always, me and Jordan were laughing about this. Andre the Giant is 7'4", and I can't remember how much he weighs.
That's how tall I am, right?
Yeah, and he's 520 pounds. We were laughing about this. That poor horse at the end. He's a 7'4" giant on that back of that horse.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, dang, I didn't think about that.
But
Shock.
but beside the point though, he was like, there's so many things that of like, you can tell all these people loved everyone on set because Andre the Giant took Inigo Montoya's what's the actor's name? Manny Patinkin. He was telling him like he was so in awe to meet Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
But Andre the Giant, when he says it's like the character Fezzik, he goes, "It's not my fault. I'm the biggest and the strongest. Just how I am. I don't even work out." That's an amazing line because it's a very big which Andre the Giant lived by, and he's like he never looked at his ailment of life of being literally physically disabled because of his gigantism as an ailment. He always looked at it as a positive, and he was so cool because like Mandy Patinkin took a photo with his kids, and Andre the Giant had his hand on his Mandy Patinkin's youngest kid, and the hand covered the entire kid's head, and it shows how careful he is. And like a lot of times he doesn't know his own strength. He was so scared like when they first he's dunking his head. He was so like. He was Andre the Giant was so scared to hurt Mandy Patinkin. He was so careful of his own strength. I just think that's like such a big testament to how amazing this human being is. And I think that
love Andre the Giant.
Yeah, honestly.
He's so cool.
But just like he's an amazing, genuine human being.
And they always say, like, in the industry of like the entertainment industry and stuff, of like, you want to work with good people. Obviously, you know, not everyone's perfect and not everyone's going to be like as lovely as, for example, Andre the Giant was. But like, it really matters what you're putting in a room and what you're putting in on a set and like the energy given. And like, I mean, we said earlier, but like, you can really tell that people loved each other in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is super important.
Yeah.
And I mean, me and Andy can attest to this as us we working on sets. Is like the best times on set is when everyone's having a good time and everyone's having a fun time. And like even if the film doesn't turn out perfect or anything like that, if you had a good time with that set, it's amazing. And then like you have those films that like maybe like there's drama or there's anguish or there's people that don't like each other. Like that sets the precedent for like an idea of that like no one's gonna have a good time on set. And I think that's where this film is like the twice a week dinners that they're having with Jamie Lee Curtis and her trailer that they're talking about that 20 years later is what makes this just so genuine. And that's where that's why I talk about this genuinity is that you can feel it. It's so vivid as an audience member.
Yeah, you can feel the love from every single person here, and it's beautiful. I love it. I don't have enough good things to say about this movie.
Oh, I know. I absolutely agree.
It's so
It's an infinitely good movie. I think it's something that I want to show my kids. I want to show my grandkids. I want my kids to show their kids, you know?
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing where it's like I think everyone should watch this movie. It's another thing where an 80-year-old person can watch it as well as a 3-year-old.
Yeah. I know my grandma watches this. And
Yeah.
I know you probably haven't seen you might have. I don't know. Well, just watch it though. I think you'd like it. Shout out.
What is it streaming on?
We watched it on Disney Plus.
Oh, it's on Disney Plus. Yeah.
I
So
bought the Criterion Collection Blu-ray a while ago.
yeah.
And I ordered the 4K Blu-ray because it comes in like a book cover.
I have it, yeah.
And they sent me the normal Blu-ray in a plastic cover with a
No.
like they took a picture of I'm heated. They took a picture of the like cloth cover and printed it on a sheet in the Blu-ray case, and I got
No, boo.
yeah, boo.
I have the exact because I was showing Jordan. I have the book one where it actually has the pages of the book.
with the like little book of like the how they did the stuff.
Yeah,
and it's-
yeah.
I
That's the
need
one
to
I
get
have.
it back. I
Yeah.
returned it on Amazon, so I need to get
it's-
it back.
it's-
Absolutely peeved.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
no.
upset.
No, you got to get it because it's in my opinion, it's like one of the best Criterion Collection movies.
Yeah.
Because it's also suede, and so
Ooh.
it feels so nice too, and it has a bunch of like has a bunch of behind the scenes. It has a bunch of making of.
Yeah.
I think that's some of the coolest things is seeing behind the scenes, and that's why we can talk. Me and Jordan can talk about like how much love they had.
Yeah.
So every character, even Vicini, he was someone so small, he had such a love for this character. Inconceivable. Like it's his most hated character. Years later, he's been in multiple different movies now, but
Yeah.
he's still his most favorite character.
Yeah. I think this is the one that is like his most popular. It's either this or like Rex from Toy Story.
Yeah.
Like he was in a lot of Pixar stuff, but to say that like this is his favorite is
Yeah.
crazy.
Carrie Ellis, Wesley, he's very famous from the Saw film, and he's very
Yeah.
famous for TV and stuff like
Yeah.
that. He's been a very big TV actor. He says nothing will ever top Wesley, and how Inigo Montoya was saying, choking up with that beautiful moment. It's like, I can't believe I'm in something like this. And it's something that really rings true to me, because like, I mean, I'm the biggest fan of fantasy and sci-fi, and like that's the films I grew up on. It's my dream to work on those films, and I can totally feel it. You know, seeing your name in those credits might just be the most amazing thing possible.
Absolutely. I love the like escapism that this kind of film lets me just really sink into the story, and just for an hour and a half, all stresses of midterms, of filming for set, of papers I have to do, all just sort of like fades away, and now it's just me and these characters, and that's all that really matters, you know?
That's a really good note. That's quote that Jumpcut, quote that.
Bars.
Clip it, chat,
Clip
clip it.
We're at what time is it? Clip that.
Clip it. Yeah. Is there anything else that you guys want to
Any final thoughts?
bring up, or?
Any final thoughts besides, I love Jordan.
It was good.
I love this movie. It made me see love. So, yeah.
I love you, dog.
Oh,
Do you want to bump it?
oh, gee, thanks.
Dab me up, Jordan. Dab me up.
Hey, where my hug at? Like,
Where my hug at?
Where my
Where's
hug
my
at?
hug at?
Okay, well,
Aw.
thank you for coming to this very special episode to all of us. A few jump cut updates. Today, actually, as we're filming this, the Oscar special is going to come up. I was rendering the Oscar special for like 13 hours
I believe
yesterday.
it. I believe
His
it.
computer almost exploded.
My computer exploded.
Making
It
weird
was crazy.
noises.
And then we're gonna probably be back either Monday or next Monday.
Yeah.
Yep. Sounds
Sweet.
good.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.